Hi and welcome to another YouTube video. I am so incredibly excited for this one because for the first time, I think since Dream Home Decorator, we've gotten a game pack, a bigger pack from the Sims team, and it fills me with so much excitement and inspiration every time that we get a new pack, just because usually there are some build items themed around a specific style. This time we even got a new world that is inspired by a specific style as well, of course, and that just makes me want to build so much in that style, and especially this time because the style is kind of a Mediterranean, maybe like Greece, Italian inspired style. So I love that style so much. It's so fun to build in, and now I get to do it a lot with the new pack and also get to explore the new items and also the debug items. So that was a whole lot of fun, and I wanted this build to be the kind of build that when you first get the pack and you want to explore the gameplay, you can use this build and you can immediately start and have everything you need for a very cheap price. So this build, even though as you can see it is pretty big, is only 18k simoleons, and that was such a big challenge, but I had just like this big like villa in mind, and so I really wanted to execute that, and I thought like I think it's possible. Like, of course, with the house being so cheap, the interior is not as beautiful as it can be, but I still tried my best to make it sort of look good. But of course the interior is kind of cheap, but it's completely functional. You have everything you need for your Sims on the interior, and it's even like a little bit decorated, so that's nice. Yeah, and so this one's only 18k simoleons, and when I first started I thought that with the like size of house that I have in mind is already so much of a challenge, I'm not going to restrict myself with packs. But later on I went back and I was like, no, the whole like idea of this build was for it to be as accessible to as many people as possible. So I am going to restrict myself with packs, but there are some like really cheap items from certain packs that I needed just to make the price work. So yeah, the packs that I used were Eco Lifestyle, Cottage Living, Jungle Adventure, just that one not for the cheap items, but this one a little bit for the whole style of the house and especially the roof shingles. And then also the Courtyard Oasis kit. You can also download this house without problems without the Courtyard Oasis kit. From that one I only used one wallpaper, but that one was the outside wallpaper. And even later when I had bought the new pack and I saw the new wallpapers, I love them for the interior. And of course, now that I'm talking, I also remember I also used my Wedding Stories game pack, of course. But yeah, with the Courtyard Oasis kit, I only used the wallpaper because it was just the one that worked the best by far on the outside. So I really wanted to use it. But I think where this build really shines is on the landscaping. So I really like the shape of the house, but then I kind of went in, did like a few things of the interior, more or less like placeholder to know for myself where every specific room is going to go. And I was really like not happy with the interior because of course I had such a limited budget, and I was a little bit scared if like people would not like this house maybe because the interior is not like as pretty because I was budgeting very hard. And so I started to get like slightly frustrated with the build and with the interior. So I thought, nope, I'm just going to stop this right here and I'm going to go and do the landscaping because that's usually my favorite part in building, and maybe even the part where I like shine a little bit. I would like to think so, but of course that's always like personal judgment and stuff, so I don't know. But yeah, I then went in and did the terrain paint first, and with the terrain paint, when I had my ideas laid down in front of me, I already knew that this was going to be great and this was going to be so much fun. And so I got a lot of inspiration pictures that I got from like Italian, especially like this build is especially inspired by the houses in like the Tuscany area, which I think is absolutely beautiful and stunning. So yeah, I used these trees that are very prevalent in those areas, and they immediately elevated this house and made it look so much more expensive. I was so happy. And yeah, so that was a whole bunch of fun. But I think this is now a great chance for me to talk a little bit about my opinion about the build and buy stuff of the new pack. I haven't explored anything else yet. I had to rush this one a little bit, and I also had to pre-prepare. So you actually see me moving this house into the new World Tartosa a little bit later in the speed build, because I had to pre-build a bunch of stuff to get this out in time. Because when you're seeing this, I actually am not at home anymore. My sister is celebrating her birthday, which of course is very important. It's like a little bit bad timing from the Sims team to release a pack when I got to go, but I have so many more builds planned and I'm just going to do them when I get back on the 26th, and then I'm going to try to get those videos out as fast as possible after the 26th. But yeah, just for this one, I was only able to explore the build and buy, and that one already was a bunch of fun. So yeah, I think while we see the whole landscaping unfold, it's a nice chance to kind of chat about it a little bit. So I was a little bit disappointed with the amount of build and buy stuff that we've gotten. I don't know why, but I expected a little bit more. I don't know if it was because we've gotten so much build and buy stuff in Dream Home Decorator. That's very possible, and maybe then my view is a little bit skewed because Dream Home Decorator, of course, was a very build and buy focused game pack, so that makes sense that we got a lot more stuff there than we got in here. But when I went through the list of stuff, there was actually not that much that could be used in an actual house. Like, of course, there was a bunch of wedding venue stuff that I haven't explored yet. I have plans to build a very like romantic castle where I'm going to use a lot of those items that I used to decorate the wedding venue and stuff. So I guess there is a lot more use for them there, and maybe then they're not going to feel like as little amount of new items as they do now. Because yeah, there is like no kitchen. Like the only real like usable furniture for a normal house that we got are basically the chairs and not much else. But yeah, the debug stuff is beautiful. There's also not as much debug as I expected, but the debug stuff that there is super cool. There are like walls and stuff. Usually I cut everything out like when I'm scrolling through different items, or when I like pick different items and place them down and have like my thought process going on about which item I'm going to keep. I usually cut all of that out, especially if I'm working with debug, because scrolling through debug can take a lot of time. And so I don't want to make you sit through that in the speed build, and I cut it all out. But this time when it came to the like edition of the my wedding stories pack, I left a little bit more of that in so that you can also get a little bit of an overview about of the new items that we've gotten also in debug. And so yeah, that was a bunch of fun to explore them, and the ones like they're absolutely beautiful, but they're also not that much. So yeah, I was a little bit like split on if this is worth to buy or not worth to buy if you are mainly focusing on build and buy. I guess I would say, like, if you like to build community lots, it's absolutely worth it. If you only like to build houses and rarely ever build like community lots, I don't know. I like the windows and the doors that you can see me place right now. They are so beautiful. I think they are going to go into a race with the windows and doors from Strangerville for my favorite windows and doors. So these ones are just top notch. Already my favorite windows in the game, and even the stained glass windows that we got to see in the trailer. Even they have neutral swatches. They have beautiful neutral swatches. They have a lot of ones that fit in with the other windows that they have. They also have like plain black and white and stuff. So windows and doors, top notch, perfect basically. But everything else, I don't know. I don't know if like just the windows and doors is enough to kind of justify the price of $20 if you only build houses and not that many community lots. I think that would be like my resume, but also one thing to factor in is that as a builder, at least I personally am also very much looking for good lots to build on, like with the beautiful surrounding, nice backdrop, and especially nice lighting. I don't know if I said that already, but yeah, this one has such beautiful lighting, such a beautiful surrounding, and this is just the first lot I tried. But I also looked a little bit at the other lots, and it also looks like the lighting there is pretty good, and like I really want to build there, so I guess that is kind of a plus too as a builder. Yeah, so here you see me do a little trick that I was very like proud of myself when I thought of this, which is not that original or anything special, but I was kind of like struggling with money. So at this point in the build was 18,350,000 simoleons, which is also not much, but I really wanted to stay under 18,000 because that is usually the starter budget that you have with your sim, like if you move in with a single sim. And so yeah, I kind of wanted to make this build affordable with just a single sim. So I really wanted to stay under 18k. And the columns that I used from Jungle Adventure were pretty expensive. So I thought if I went through, like when I went through the debug and I saw this kind of like fencing or fence post that was like this nice stone, I was like, oh my god, I can make columns out of these. So I did. And I really like the look of them. The only downside is that they go into the inside a little bit. But I think like if you were someone who is selling houses and stuff, you could go onto the inside and show like these old walls and sell it as a feature. So I'm going to just try to do the same and say it's a feature because it doesn't look horrible on the inside at all. And so yeah, I really hope that you like this build, that you enjoyed this speed build. I hope that it's going to be super useful for you in your gameplay because that's what it it's meant for. And yeah, I had lots of fun building this, and I have so many more super cute building ideas for the new pack. But also I love this style that Tartosa is so fitting for, so I'm going to build lots more houses in this style in the future. So if that's something that interests you, please consider subscribing. That would make me super duper happy, and I hope we'll see each other again.